Welcome to the Gulf Coast Outdoor Living Podcast with Mike and Brad. Gulf Coast Outdoor Living is Houston's top trade specialist for outdoor kitchens, garage floor coatings, and screen enclosures. It's all they do, and they're the best. Their work is an elegant masterpiece that will stand the test of time.
Wow, that's amazing. I want one. Time to call and get mine.
Now, here are Mike and Brad.
Hey guys, welcome back to Gulf Coast Outdoor Living Podcast. I'm your host, Mike, out here with Brad Hubble.
How you doing, Mike?
What's happening, brother? Brad's the design builder for this company. Now, this is what's amazing about this company is they've been around for 30 plus years. These are the actual trade specialists, not general contractors. These are the guys that bring the teams out, they do the design work, they do the installation, and they specialize in certain specific applications. Outdoor kitchens, garage floor coatings, and screen enclosures. Now they are rare, they're a trade that actually does business with the buyer directly and does work with select contractors like pool companies and outdoor living space companies and landscape companies and general contractors. So the company, there's a subsidiary called Texas Shield Coatings, which is a subsidiary of the primary company. Now this company specifically deals in garage floor or floor coatings. And today, that's what we're going to be talking about. Design trends and technology for garage floor coatings, for both garage floors for residential properties and commercial properties, inside and outside. Now, we're going to be educating you. There's a lot of confusion in this area. There's competing technologies that are very different. There are certain applications in terms of how these job sites have to be prepared. So any of these coatings will adhere to the flooring and will provide a sustainable performance. And then there's design limitations. So we're going to cover all that with Brad today. This is, if you're going to buy, I don't care if you have a 2-car garage and you're buying a floor coating, you need to pay attention to this because we're going to save you a lot of headaches. Brad, let me ask you a question. There are a lot of different products being sold in the marketplace for these applications. You've got epoxy. You've got, what's the type of technology you're using?
Polyurea and polyaspartic.
Right. Now, are there any other options out there? Any kind of overlays or anything?
Yeah, you have stamped concrete overlays. Of course, you have cool decks that you see around swimming pools. And then you have stains. A lot of people will do different stains and stuff like that. So yes, there are other options.
Well, I can talk to the stains because I did a lot of testing when I was a builder in high-end custom homes, and I did not like the way that you can't control the color of the stain interacting with the concrete. It never looks finished, and for some reason around the perimeter of the wall where the trim is at, it just never looks finished. It looks like it's not done yet.
Yeah, correct. I'm not a stain expert. I'm a polyurea, polyaspartic, Pentec expert. But I will tell you, there are so many jobs that we go out and we see stains, whether it's a stain on your back patio or stains in your garage or around around swimming pools, and it just looks splotchy. I think splotchy is probably a good word to use.
It doesn't ever look like it's a brand new floor. That's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't, and then you end up having to maintain it a lot just to try to make it look as good as it can.
Sure, yeah.
So I'm not a fan of that as a decorative application for a garage or a driveway. When you get into these epoxies, there's some issues with that technology.
Yeah, epoxy. First of all, what I would say is customer needs to make themselves knowledgeable on epoxies. Epoxy is kind of a catch-all term. You can coat a lot of different things in epoxy. Concrete being one of them, but you can also epoxy plastics and metals and just a wide range of different things. Unfortunately, the kind of the catch-all term that people see a picture on Facebook or on the website or whatever the case may be, and they're like, I want to epoxy my garage. That's something that we really try to educate the customer on. Of well, what exactly does that mean, and what are your pitfalls that you're going to be running into when you just start talking about, I want to epoxy my garage floor.
Right. Saying epoxy is like saying Coke in the drink world.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
It's a general term.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you want Coca-Cola, or do you want a Pepsi or a Dr. Pepper, or what are you really asking for?
And
here?
what the buyer doesn't understand is that is a specific type of application and technology.
Correct. Yes, it is.
Which is really not the best technology for these particular applications.
Yeah, that's correct. So the manufacturer that we use, that we have a relationship with, is called Pentek. Pentek. Pentek is a company that is based in the United States. All of the manufacturing happens in the United States, in a warehouse in Lakeville, Minnesota. That is important for a lot of different reasons. But really the most important reason is we know exactly where our product comes from. Where is it being manufactured? If there's ever an issue, we know exactly who to call, where to get the answers, how to create any fixes that you may need. That's not real common in the coatings world. So many people will, or so many companies will buy a product that they have been told will bond to concrete, and will look good, and they're probably right. It'll probably bond to concrete for 6 months to a year, maybe a year and a half. They're 100% right. The problem lies where when it does fail, and it will. When it does fail, is where do you get your answers from? I mean, the buck has to stop somewhere, right? Well, I know where the buck stops because I know the owner of Pentek, based here in the United States. So if there's ever an issue, I can get the answer and I can get the fixes. I can get it taken care of. Whereas you go get a bucket of do-it-yourself epoxy from Home Depot and it starts to fail. One, you probably installed it, so that's where the buck stops. It stops with you, right? You probably
there's a lot of little tiny contractors running around doing side jobs, getting these garage floors. They go to Home Depot, they get the epoxy, and they come and throw it in. And you know the problem is that all of these technologies are installation dependent.
Sure.
And, you know, one of the single most important things, whether you're going to paint the garage floor, it doesn't matter. You've got to worry about moisture content, the age of the slab. Is that technology adaptable to those circumstances that exist, whether you have the ability to determine what they are or not, whether you have high moisture content in your slab or whatever? Should you do it is a good question. And then just absolutely preparing that surface with the right equipment. Now, how do you guys prepare the floor, and do you think it should be done any other way?
So I will tell you the first thing that you say that's 100% accurate is prep work is the most important aspect in any floor coating. I'll say it again, prep work. You've got to make sure that concrete is prepped in a professional manner for maximum adhesion. So many, regardless of the type of floor coating that you're using, if you have not done the correct prep work to the concrete slab that you're going to be working with, you're asking for failure. The way that we prep all of our floors is we diamond grind every one of our floors with a professional machine. Our diamond grinder is it's about 650 pounds. Cost about $32,000 to purchase. Hooks up to a vacuum to minimize dust. At the end of the day, you're grinding concrete, and so that creates a whole bunch of dust.
Not acid etching.
No, yeah, not the acid etching. There's you're asking for a lot of failure whenever you're just acid etching.
Even if your garage floor looks perfect, maybe it's new construction. The thing that people do not understand is all the things that come in contact with that surface during construction. You've got glues, you've got solvents, you've got all kinds of things and that's a porous surface. It's going to absorb that stuff. That has got to be renewed down to the original concrete to apply a new bonding surface.
Absolutely. The reason that we diamond grind is because we want to be able to, when we diamond grind your concrete floor, your garage floor, we're not grinding anything really down. We're really just kind of removing that top surface layer, exposing the pores of the concrete. You mentioned that concrete is porous, and you're 100% correct, which is also why concrete doesn't stay looking real good, because it's porous. So any kind of mud or dirt or
Oil.
or oil or whatever the case may be, you're getting stains on your concrete, and that's exactly what it is. It's staining because all of that whatever you drop on your floor seeps down into the pores of the concrete, and now becomes a permanent part of that concrete floor. And we
When I was a builder, okay, 22 years I was a design builder and a remodeler, and I've seen a lot of people come in behind me and put these applications down, and within like 3 to 6 months, they'd be calling me trying to get me to help them figure out how to fix it. The hot tires on the car would literally pull it up off the floor, or UV light would discolor it and make it look terrible. Right, you'd have a shadow line a third of the way through the garage, and it would start turning yellow. They hated that. I mean, well, of course, because and when people sell you things, which is why we're doing the show, you need to understand that the technology that you choose will dictate the longevity of the attractiveness of it, the usability of it in a volatile environment. You've got your car's dripping oil all the time. Those materials have to be able to manage solvent exposures and gasoline and light.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is something that I'm very passionate about, and I can talk for hours on end with our floor coatings. But it really does go back to quality, and it goes back to maximum adhesion, and it goes back to the manufacturer actually producing a product that is meant to bond to concrete. The brilliance behind Pentec, our manufacturer, is they're testing their product on a daily basis to make sure that what they are producing is meant to last. We use it's a 99.5% solids polyurea base coat. What that means is the chemical reaction that happens in all floor coatings does something different, and you really need to tweak exactly the way that you're manufacturing your product to get the best result from it. Pentec has done that with their polyurea base coat, and I will tell you that the base coat is really it's the strength of our floor. The reason that we diamond grind everything is to get the pores of the concrete exposed. And then we come in with a high end vacuum, just like you would vacuum the carpet inside your house. We're vacuuming the concrete after we diamond grind it to expose those pores, to get all the dust up out of those pores, so those pores are now professionally prepped to accept the base coat that we are rolling out. And not to get too technical with you here, but the reason that it's so strong is because of the manufacturer and the way that they have produced it. Once we expose those pores, polyurea cures when it finds moisture. And so we want to install whenever we have dry concrete, because there is natural moisture in every concrete slab. So because we have opened up the pores of the concrete, we now roll out that polyurea base coat. And because we've prepped the pores correctly, that polyurea actually seeps down into the pores of the concrete, and it finds the natural moisture that's in every slab. Once it finds that, it starts the curing process, and it cures very quickly. It briefly expands and then hardens very quick within 20 minutes. You don't have a whole lot of working time with this. And so when we roll out the polyurea base coat, because it has been prepped correctly, it is now part of your floor. The only way you're not scraping it off. The only way to get it off is to come back in and grind it off. So that chemical reaction is actually happening as a part of your concrete substrate. As one person is rolling on that base coat, we then come behind and we throw out all these millions and millions of, we call them paint flakes or chips, whatever you want to call them. But it is
that gives it the aesthetic appeal.
Correct. Yes. And we have 20 different standard colors for all of our customers to choose from. And we bring those samples to every single appointment to let customers look at it and see what it looks like against their walls and see what it looks like against the stone outside of their house or whatever color paint that they have. That way they can make a good educated choice. But when we throw these flakes, it is what we call 100% cast, meaning you don't even see the base coat when we get finished throwing all the flakes. We could use a hot pink base coat. You don't see it when we get done throwing the flakes. That's how thick we throw the flakes on. A lot of the DIY projects you see from Home Depot, they give you a small little bag of flakes, and it's just kind of sparsely thrown out in your garage floor. Some areas are thicker than others, and there's not really a whole lot of uniform to it. And 95% of the floor that you're seeing is that gray or tan base coat that you've used.
We were talking about design, right? And I went to one of your projects over in Clear Lake Shores, and I noticed that the actual driveway and the garage were done, and it was surprising to see the garage or the driveway done, but it was really elegant. I mean, it looked great, but the driveway was a different color than the garage.
Yeah, so we have the ability to do your garage in one color and your driveway in a separate color and your back patio in another color. And if you want to do it around your swimming pool surround, we can do that in a different color. We also, because we've been doing this so long, and my crew that does my installs is top notch, we have the ability, we can put a 6-inch border around your patio. So if you wanted to do your patio in pecan, we can do a 6-inch border around it in chestnut. And it basically just kind of frames your patio, and it just makes things look so...
Well, that project, the guy, he got quite a bit of money, and he said he wanted the South Shore Harbor logo designed into it.
He sure did, yeah. And we spent time with my design team in creating this logo down to the specifics on exactly.
It was impressive, dude. I was like, wow, that's damn close, if not exactly like it.
Yeah, it was a challenge, but it was a challenge that only took us about 30 minutes after making a couple edits here and there. But bottom line, we want to make sure that our customers get exactly what they're looking for. And the guy that you're talking about there in Clear Lake Shores is extremely happy. 1, with his floor, 2, with his driveway, and 3, he loves the logo.
Oh yeah, no, I was impressed. So the interesting thing about this is that there's a bunch of little bitty guys out there that are doing this as a side job, and there's some guys out there that there's a lot of competition with guys that are formerly in business. And some of the things that I saw, I had a client that asked me to review this stuff, which is exactly how I ended up meeting Brad. And I said, just let me call these guys, and you can sit here and listen and see how I question them and see their responses, right? Because literally there was one guy that said that we do all these different types of applications. And I told him, I said, look, that's a red flag, because a guy that does this kind of work is going to be committed to a specific application and a specific product that he knows works and will last, okay? So I looked at the guy's proposal, and it literally said 1/4-inch top coat. He didn't specify the product. He didn't specify what, but there was a number at the bottom of it. And it wasn't enough, which was the double negative. There's no way he could have done that job professionally for the amount of money that he had in there. I said, and I said, I told him one of the questions I'm going to ask is, how long have you been in business? And he said, well, 1.5 years. Okay, so my rule of thumb with specialty trades like this, especially that are not common, garage floor coatings, if they haven't been in business for 5 years, then and they're running around offering warranties of 15 years, lifetime. They're throwing out these words, but they're the ones that have to warranty the product. They installed it.
Well, they don't know who the manufacturer is either.
Exactly. It was Home Depot. Home Depot. So anyway, we threw that one out, and then we got a chance to talk to Brad, and he was very thorough in terms of his technology and why it needed to be used, whether it was commercial, residential, indoor, outdoor, it didn't make any difference. He had his finger on all the specifications, and I grilled him pretty hard. But he was volunteering most of the information. He'd answer the question before I even got it out of my mouth. Now, the other test of time in any trade is the ultimate king. Can he run a business? Can he support his customers? Can he grow his business? And that's all related to what he does. So Guy's been in business for 10 years under this company, and the family, he's been doing this since he was a kid. Family's been in this specific space for 30 years. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, people. Fair pricing, performance-based, and tons of happy customers, and some of the top pool companies, landscape companies, and general contractors in town hire him to do their specific work for their customers. So, one, what do you want? You want to make a reasonable investment. You want an aesthetically pleasing, dynamic space that lasts years and years and years and always has that fresh new look on it that withstands the oils and the gasolines and the harsh environment that it's in, both indoors and outdoors. And you want to make sure that you're getting a reasonable price. So all I can say is you're not going to improve on this situation or the technology or the implementation with any other company in Houston, Texas.
Yeah, one of the things that our customers absolutely love is, and one of the reasons that we're successful is because of our referrals. And it's not really a referral because they saw us do a garage 2 days ago. It's because they saw, they went over to their friend's house that we did their garage 4 years ago, and it still looks immaculate. The reason it looks immaculate is because the polyaspartic top coat sealer that we use, once we apply it, it eliminates the pores from the concrete. So it is so easy to keep clean. And when you have something that's easy to keep clean, it'll hold that shine for years and years. And so you're impressing all of your friends and family for years and years. And so it's not just a quick turnaround referral. It's a long lasting turnaround referral.
Now, let me add my personal experience to this. 22 years in building and remodeling, and I've seen tons of people paint their floors. Don't paint your floor, and damn sure don't use a solid color. It will show every imperfection and dip and swing, and then you pop a light on it, and it just comes out like a shining show.
Yeah, anything that's a solid color, it really enhances all of the imperfections of your floor. And I promise you, there's imperfections in every single concrete slab that's out there. One of the beauties behind our floors is once we're finished with it, it gives your floor kind of a granite look.
It's beautiful,
and it hides all those imperfections. And of course, very easy to keep clean. And it's like I said, I could talk about it for hours because I'm very passionate about it.
Pool decks, garage floors, large commercial spaces, indoors or out. It works across the board. This stuff is amazing. And I highly encourage you guys to take all these things into consideration to make an informed decision and get something that's actually going to deliver for you. So I'm talking to Brad Hubble. He's the designer and builder. The company name is Texas Shield Coatings, is who we'll be contracting. You'll be contracting with to get this stuff done. And you can find information online. Is there a website for that company?
TexasShieldCoatings.com. Pretty
Okay.
simple.
And the number is
409-502-8989.
409-502-8989 or floor.
TexasShieldCoatings.com.
That's it. All right, stay tuned. We'll be right back, guys. We're going to talk about some of these projects.
We'll be right back with more on the Gulf Coast Outdoor Living Podcast with Mike and Brad. If you're ready to design and install an outdoor kitchen, garage floor coating, pool deck coating, or a big screen enclosure, Gulf Coast Outdoor Living is the best. They're actually the trade specialists, not a general contractor hiring subcontractors. They're the tradesmen general contractors hire. They only specialize in these three specialties. They have always served the public first and do subcontract to select GCs over the past decade. It's been a family business for over 30 years. If you desire truly unique designs that can hold up to our harsh environment on the coast, look no further than Gulf Coast Outdoor Living. Not to mention, you won't have to pay a general contractor's big markup. Call them today for a free estimate, 409-502-8989, or online at GulfCoastOutdoorLiving.com. Let's get back to the Gulf Coast Outdoor Living Podcast with Mike and Brad.
All right, guys, we're back. Gulf Coast Outdoor Living Podcast with Mike and Brad. We've been talking about garage floor coatings, and now what we're going to do is talk about some of the projects and how many different ways that this company has installed this technology with long-term and great success. So let's deal with a simple, common application like a two-car garage floor.
Two-car, yeah, that's our bread and butter. Two-car garage floor. Seems like everybody down here on the coast has got a two-car garage. And I will tell you that the two-car garage is something that's it varies in size depending on when you had your house built. We've had your two-car garages that are 360 square foot, and then talk to somebody else and they say, I just got a standard two-car garage and it's 575 square foot. So it definitely varies.
You know, Brad, is standard size. I want the standard price for the standard size.
Yeah. It's always an interesting phone call whenever you get that.
So what's a budget range for that size project?
I would say most of our standard two-car garage floor coatings are probably anywhere from $2,500 to $4,000 total, all in. And we complete every one of our garage floors in one day, back to full service the next day,
depending on square footage.
Yeah, of course. Could be lower, could be a little bit more. Then of course there's challenges that we have to dissect, which is why we give all of our quotes at an appointment. We need to look at the hardness and or softness of your concrete, what kind of cracks and pittings you may have that we may need to fix. What kind of vertical areas do you have? You have stem walls and that step up on the back. There's a whole bunch of different things that we look at.
Okay, now moving on to a little bit bigger project. This is one I've actually seen over in Clear Lake Shores in the Kemah area. This was a house on stilts, and you did the garage floor, but I noticed when I drove up to the driveway was done in this coating as well.
Yeah, it looked good, didn't it?
Oh, it was beautiful, man.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so we started off by meeting with the customer. His name's Tom, and wanted the floor coating. He does a lot of entertaining, and he just hated the boring look of regular old gray concrete. Wanted something that was going to be easy to clean, and so we got him some what we call Tidal Wave is the color that he has underneath his bay house. It's got some whites and grays and blues in it. Looks fabulous, especially down on the coast when you're trying to incorporate a bunch of water in a lot of the scenery that you have down on the coast. And then he said, well, will this stuff hold up to hot tire pickup? And I was like, absolutely. Our polyaspartic top coat sealer actually deflects heat. And he said, so you can do my driveway? And I said, absolutely, we can do your driveway.
And it's not adversely affected by constant UV light.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% UV stable for sure. And deflects heat, which is why we also do pool surrounds. But he said the thing is I like this Tidal Wave in my garage or, kind of under this area, but I don't think I really want that blue out in my driveway. I said, well, let's take a look at some other colors. And our Pebble Beach, it's got some tans and some browns in it, and it matched the exterior of his home perfectly.
Oh yeah, and it's not in your face. I mean, it's a very subtle presentation, but it's very decorative.
Absolutely.
And, it's really sexy. I was kind of shocked. I was like, wow, this is cool. I said, you sure this is going to hold up out here? He goes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
We do pool decks too. So Cool Deck, better find a new home.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, Cool Deck, we get so many calls from somebody.
That's some nasty stuff.
Well,
and one of the biggest complaints is once it's there and it's been there for a while, I'm doing a remodel and it looks nasty. Getting that stuff off the concrete is a monster job.
Well, and Cool Deck is so porous, and it's not, it's got so many different crevices for dirt and mud and grime and mold and all that stuff just to hide down in there. And one of the main reasons we get calls about pool decks is because somebody they got Cool Deck 5 years ago, and now they're trying to clean it, and they get a power washer out there and they power wash their Cool Deck. Well, not only are they removing the dirt and grime, they're also removing the paint that's on their Cool Deck, and so now their pool deck has got all these power washing stripes on it, and it's so hard to keep.
I don't know
clean
how they
long-term.
keep selling that stuff with the maintenance issues that they have within a few years of it being put down. But okay, so the next project is commercial sports bar and restaurant applications.
Yeah, so we have done our floors in several different sports bars and restaurants. There's a crawfish restaurant in Santa Fe called Pook's that I know the owner. He understands the value of quality, and he called and he said, "Brad, I need a floor that's going to be easy to clean. I need a floor that is going to stand up to high traffic. I'm going to need a floor that is able to hold its shine and to hold its value." He said, we have all of these tables in here, but every couple of days we actually get a forklift and we bring our forklift in here and we remove these tables so we can clean the floors, because we have crawfish juices and butter and all that stuff that is spilt, and we clean our floors every single day, every single night, but every once in a while we need to do a good deep clean. And I said, I've got you taken care of. And so they're running forklifts on this floor 2 or 3 times a week. They're constantly cleaning it to make sure it's meeting all FDA regulations, and their customers are able to eat in a good, clean environment. And
it doesn't show wear patterns
No.
like you see in the where they're doing the epoxy coatings and stuff in there and they polish them and all that.
That's it.
Yeah, it's not porous. It is not porous.
Correct. Yeah, we're eliminating the pores with that polyaspartic sealer.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys tuning in today. If you're going to buy a garage floor, if you're going to buy a floor coating specifically for garages or outdoor uses, I can tell you right now, there's not a better technology. But as important as the technology is the company and the equipment that are going to be used to install it, because that is where the money's at. If site prep is done and they're just doing etching and they don't have ways to establish the moisture content in the slab and the condition of the slab, the suitability of the application, you're throwing darts, and you're 9 times out of 10 you're going to have pretty bad failure, and you're going to have to redo it again. Nobody wants to do this twice. And if you want something that's going to last, just think about this. A guy's been in business for 2 years or 3 years, and he's offering you a lifetime warranty or a 15-year warranty. I just don't think I'd bet my money that way, because I've spent millions on contractors, and trust me, that's like gambling in Vegas. You're probably not going to win.
Well, longevity counts for something. You're doing something right, and you're using good quality products doing it.
Okay, so go online to TexasShieldCoatings.com. You can find information there, or just give them a buzz. They'll come out and look at the project, give you a price, 409-502-8989. 409-502-8989. Brad, we're going to get this up next week.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it, Mike. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Thanks for listening to the Gulf Coast Outdoor Living Podcast. We'll see you again next week.